Welcome back to another episode of Hot Mess Espresso. We have Jaali Cypher on the pod today. Hey.
Hi, everybody.
So I guess just dive right in. Where did Jaali Cypher come from?
So the first time I was making music, I was going by my last name, like Smitty. My last name is
Mm-hmm.
Smith, so people were just calling me Smitty, and it stuck with me my whole childhood. And I was like, that is not a good artist name. And I wanted something that would really represent what I make music about
Mm-hmm.
and what I kind of stand for as a person. And I wanted a baby name website, and I was just like, what are good names to start with, and what do they mean? Because I wanted my name to like mean something,
Mm-hmm.
and I found the name Jaali, and it was Swahili, which is African for powerful, and it wasn't just like strong, powerful. It was like powerful spirit, powerful mind, like all these things that were inward facing that I felt like I definitely had, and it just instantly clicked. And then the word cipher in the English language is a coded message. And in hip hop, a cipher is when a group of artists, kind of get together and they might freestyle over a beat or, just, spit bars together in the middle of the street. It doesn't matter. And that's something that I have been doing for a while with my friends.
Right.
So if you put them together, a powerful message, it's something that I feel like I've always resonated with when it comes to writing music. Is I want it to be impactful. I want it to be something I can stand behind and something that I think that will make people feel better.
Yeah. To kind of slightly circle back to the hip hop, did you start in metal and then go to rap, or like how
Yeah,
did that all come about?
yeah. So when I was a child, I was going to like shows with my mom, and she would always be playing rock on the radio. And
Mm-hmm.
I never liked hip hop. I always was strongly influenced by metal music, like Disturbed, Linkin Park. First show I ever went to was Linkin Park, and at one point I met one of my brothers named Tamar and Lord Mace, and he kind of showed me the ropes of hip hop. It wasn't just rap, because a lot of the music that was kind of coming out wasn't my thing. And because I'm really strong with lyrics, and I felt like the 90s, the golden era of hip hop was the most lyrical, but it was something that I didn't get to experience. I was born in the 90s, so I was just a baby, and my
Mm-hmm.
parents didn't listen to that kind of music. So when I met my friend, I started diving into some old school hip hop and learning more about that. And it was kind of, I guess I might have sidetracked a little bit, but yeah, no, when I was young, I started out with metal. That was the first thing I did. I was in a group called The Breath Alive in Buffalo. It was actually Ryan's from Until I Wakes group. He kind of formed that one and uh, contracted me for vocals, and it was a great year. We did a lot of great things, and then the band kind of just parted ways, and I needed an outlet. So knowing hip hop, and it was almost like perfect timing for me to have another outlet to jump into. I instantly started gravitating towards writing music, writing poetry, writing hip hop, and I did a lot of traveling over the last probably decade, from about 2013 to 2020, 2023, just before I joined the band. It's like
Mm-hmm.
heavily hip hop, a little metal sprinkled in here and there, like I was in a side project here and there, and I've done features and jumped on stage for people, but it's always been hip hop for the last 10 years. Still listening to metal, but I was playing shows making hip hop. And then 2023 November, Until I Wake hit me up. Ryan called me and asked me if I was screaming or if I could still scream, and I was like, dude, I scream in my car every single day. I listen to metal music all the time. Like,
Right.
even though I put out hip hop music, I really still love metal music.
Yeah.
Just like I like hip hop too. I just like a little bit of everything. Like to
Mm-hmm.
keep it, have some variety. And joined the band. The last year is just 2024 was one of the craziest years of my life as far as a musician goes, being able to do all the things that we were able to do and show people, not just Buffalo, but the whole world, what I'm here for. And now leaving Until I Wake, I still have that support from a lot of those people, and it gives me motivation to kind of throw out something soon and start going on another project next.
Right. So you obviously were the vocalist for the second album, Renovate.
Hmm.
Was it, did you have to kind of like push hard to put more of like the hip hop rap like elements into the album, or was everyone like, yeah, let's try and fuse it all together?
Hi, kitty.
I know, my freaking cat.
So great question. So I think that a lot of when I jumped into the band, they knew that I was a hip hop artist for the last like 10 years. So, you know, having now jumping into this metal band, I think that they all knew. They were like, it's going to make its way into the project one way or
Right.
another. And they were very welcoming about it. They were very accepting. Landon in the studio with the plot and you, he was, you know, a
Love him.
great, yeah, no, he's a phenomenal, not even just artist and singer, but just a producer and a someone who can kind of guide the workflow. Like I can't give him enough praises. The dude's
Hmm.
awesome, and being able to kind of experiment with those things, I can be a little bold sometimes with my ideas, a little out
Hmm.
there, and he kind of helped simplify them and help a lot of that come together. So I think everybody was very welcoming about the idea of me rapping and having that background influence, and it paid off, in my opinion. I think it paid off. The numbers aren't as big as some of Until I Wake's previous numbers, which is probably because a lot of their fan base is used to hearing one sound.
Yeah.
But in my opinion, I think we made a masterpiece, and I wouldn't have changed a thing.
No, both albums are very different, but they work.
Mm-hmm.
We were kind of like talking about that a little bit off camera. Um Obviously a lot of the lyrics are mental health related. Were
Mm-hmm.
you doing a lot of the writing for it or
Yeah, so that's what I do is write. So it's
Mhm.
like I at first the whole experience was very weird because I had never been in a session where someone was writing with me. Out of the
Mhm.
10 years I've been making music, everything has just been just my ideas and really no influence. Me in this basement, nobody else around. And that was the way I liked it. And then I worked with Landon, and within the first like day, we had a practice session. The label was like, "Yo, we're gonna send you out there to see how you guys work together." And
Mhm.
we made Separate in one day. We wrote the whole song in like one day, and then recorded it the second day. And we only had 2 days to make a song, and
That is
just
crazy.
having to get pushed out of that comfort zone right off the bat. And it wasn't like just like a request from my friend. It's like, no, you're signed to a major record label, and you gotta do something. Like you gotta have a
Mhm.
song done. I let my walls down and we all wrote together. So it wasn't like I would just sit in a room and be like, hey guys, the song's done, here it is. That happened a few times for a number of the songs in the album, but a good amount of the album too was spent like me and Ryan at the Airbnb. We'd be in the basement cooking up lyrics together. He'd be like,
Mhm.
oh, you're stuck on this? Like I kind of had an idea, and I'm like, yo, give it to me. And
Mhm.
Wholehearted, trapped inside of my own fucking mind.
Yeah,
That was
I
Ryan.
love that song.
Yeah, Ryan. Like props to Ryan. We were sitting in the basement. I'm like, dude, I got like half the song written, but I can't figure out what to say for this beginning. I'm kind of overthinking it. And Ryan was
Mhm.
like, oh, that's funny you said that because I actually wrote something. I was like, you did? I'm like, let me hear it. And he wrote that whole first stanza up to just let me breathe. Oh, carve it. That was my first lyric. Carve it out of my heart. That was the first thing I wrote because I couldn't figure out a beginning. So if I were to tell you that I wrote every lyric on the entire album, that wouldn't be true. Did I write probably like 80% of it? Yeah, because it was all based on concepts and stories that I had come up with that I've experienced in my own life. And I told them right from the jump, from the day we wrote Separate. I'm like, Separate's literally about separating yourself from your anxiety, your depression, like trying to identify with you, not your mental illnesses.
Yeah.
And I told him, I'm like, this is going to be a mental health album. This is going to be a story. This is what it's going to be. This is what I'm going to write about. And we're going to craft it that way. So it's a start to finish, resolved, like concept album. And so predominantly, yeah, but I did write a lot of the lyrics, but we definitely wrote a lot of it together.
Yeah. Was it cathartic to write it, or did you kind of feel a little bit more triggered as you were writing it, obviously facing the things you were writing about?
Yes and no, because I think that I'm a strong believer in like words are very powerful,
Mhm.
and it's like the same person that says like, "Oh, like I'm sorry, I'm stupid," like da da da. I always say like, don't do that because like if you say it too much, you might one day start to actually believe it. So I guess
Mhm.
some of it was a little scary for me because I had been through that, but I got over it. So
Mhm.
having to revisit it, it was a little, uh, I guess I was hesitant to say certain things
Right.
because I didn't want to speak things into existence again. So it was a bit of a release for the knowledge that the words that I was saying were going to translate to someone who is currently, present in that situation. So I know that, like, oh, even if I do have to revisit all of these topics and these things that I felt, um, it's going to be for a greater good. It's going to be
Mhm.
for people to know that, oh, they're not alone. Like, oh, Jaali Cypher, he wrote about feeling this way, and that's how I feel right now, and he's still alive, and he's still kicking, and he's doing great. So if he did it and he can get over it, then, like, that must mean it's possible. And that was what the whole album was, like, aimed for. It was like, hey, let's talk about all these things that, we have been through and experienced, and maybe we can find a little bit of healing in the process ourselves and find a way to be stronger from writing these words. But yeah, no, I was a mix of both. Definitely a mix of both.
Yeah. I'm guessing the feedback that you've gotten has been insane when it comes to that album.
It's definitely been good. I haven't really got anybody other than like a couple YouTube comments like we don't like the rapping or something.
Oh my
But
god.
almost everybody who has reached out to me and told me about the album and how they felt about it, it's been a lot of, this has helped me, not
Mhm.
just like, oh dude, I love that breakdown. It was like, no, like this song, my grandpa passed away and I've been listening to it and it's been helping me feel like I can heal and get over this. And it's you know it's hard to leave that and go to my 9 to 5 job, doing this gig that kind of feels like you're not where you should be.
Mhm.
So to have to leave all that and I still feel connected when people message me these things, it's such a heartwarming feeling that literally just makes all of it so worth it. And even if I'm not still in the band, it just breathes so much life into me to get people messaging me, "Hey, I just heard this song," and or "Hey, this has been on repeat for the last couple months and it's helping me through what I'm going through right now." Like people sending me those messages is like it's the most heartwarming feeling I could ever get.
Yeah. To kind of go back in time a little bit, how was touring? Because obviously, like, you were asked to jump in, and I
Mhm.
mean, you were jumping both feet back, like, on the road. How did that affect your mental health with just being like, "Okay, I'm in," and also like, "Holy shit."
Until the relationship with my son started to take a decline as
Mhm.
far as like my distance and my absence from touring so much, it was literally like nothing short of like the best feeling in the world. Like it was the best. I know some
Mhm.
people might be like, "Oh, that must have been hard." Like, you must have been under so much pressure and stress. And I'm like, "No, like you have no idea." It's like a person with a pickaxe and a mine, like mining for gold. And it's just like, yo, you could have a broken arm, a broken shoulder, and all whatever. And it's like you hit that piece and you break it open and you see like
Mhm.
all of your work is finally realized and it's being appreciated and all the opportunities you worked for are given to you now. And now's the time to seize it. There was nothing but just straight ambition and just raw passion to like go out there and give every fucking show the best show I could possibly put on. Whether
Mhm.
it meant leaving there with like a bloody nose or like, the sweatiest armpits or I fell
I mean,
I,
yeah.
I fell off the stage the first tour we did in Montreal, 30 seconds into the show because I was just going too hard, tripped over a speaker, fell on the cameraman, fucking
Oh
my eye was cut open. Somebody in Montreal will vouch for me because I was screaming in her face with like blood on my hand. Like
my
this is
god.
what I mean by it's like just raw passion. I was
Mhm.
not I was not thinking about nothing other than, yo, today's the day. They're like, what do you mean today's the day? I'm like, today's the day. It's gonna be the best day ever, and we're gonna put on
Right.
the great. They're like, dude, like this is like the 17th day of tour. We've been doing this for like 2 weeks. Aren't you like tired? I'm like, tired? No, bro. Another 3 weeks to go. Let's go. And then we get home. We're going back on tour again. Like, nah, it's just. So I say, my heart is in this. My heart is really in this. And if it wasn't for my relationship with my son being affected, I'd still be out there. But
Yeah.
all that to be said, that it's like this is not even close to the career being finished. It's just getting started. Now I have even more fuel in the fire to know that the next opportunity I get, like this is possible. Everything that I've been working for my whole life was just shown to me in the course of a year that it's all possible. Now I'm like, all right, now I got to step back, reformulate another plan, and get right back at it.
Yeah, you'd mentioned, I believe it was the Revolver magazine interview, right? Like where you kind of went into why you left.
Hmm.
Was it kind of a no-brainer because it had to do with your son or
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I mean, not to sound like a bad father or anything, because it's like all I've ever wanted to be in life was a musician and a good
Mhm,
father. And when I had my son, it was, he is the greatest gift that I've ever been given. But to have a strong foundation of probably 15, like I'm saying probably, but it's actually most likely like 17 years of making music, being on the street, performing with a speaker and a lunchbox, traveling across the world, like in California, moving there for trying to become a musician. Like, it's all things you can go fact check. I've been doing this my whole life.
mhm,
And it felt like God gave me an opportunity when he let me join this band and when he gave me the opportunity to shine. And I felt like it was me living up to my full potential of what God put me on this earth to do.
mhm.
So when all of this stuff started kind of falling down around me, it was very, very, very confusing.
I'm
Like,
sure.
still to this day, I question, like, is everything going the way that it's supposed to go? Because I'm not sure. I'm supposed to be working this 9 to 5 right now, and I'm like, but when I see my son and we go on an Easter egg hunt and we go fishing and we do all these things, I'm reminded of like, hey, like this is the right decision. It wasn't an easy decision to make, not because I don't want to be with my son, but because it was such a black and white decision. It wasn't like, oh, hey, we can just tour a little less. It was no. It's either the band or it's your son. And it took a lot of time to get to that point too, because when I first understood what was happening at home and came home to see him and things weren't the same, it was like a slow like process of starting to question like, okay, what's possible? Can I stay in the band? Can we tour a little less? And then once it got to the point where it was just this or this, that's when it wasn't an easy decision, but it was a very simple, yep, it's him.
Yeah,
Because the fans, the music, this microphone and this equipment that I have around me always be there. It'll
right.
always be an opportunity as long as I got a voice and as long as I'm still kicking and my heart's beating. It's an opportunity for me, for God to put me in a position to be here again. But if I neglect somebody that I brought into this world
Mhm.
while they need me, and I'm not going to get that time back, that's something that I can never change. And once I realized that, and it was, simple, but it's almost just like it takes a little bit of time to really click. And once I realized that, I was like, yep, made the decision, told the guys, and you know, like, but everything happens for a reason, and I know that my son needs me, and and as much as these fans need me, I don't know if you've ever heard the song "Miles Away" by how can I be everything they expect me to
That is
be?
not familiar to me, but I'm gonna go look it up.
Miles Away by Memphis Mayfire, off the
Oh, okay.
Challenger
Oh, wait,
record.
wait, wait.
Yeah,
Yes,
with
yes. I
Alan
know that.
Flynn.
I know that one. I know that one.
Mhm. He's talking about his wife.
Mhm.
How can I be everything that these people want me to be when I'm leaving my heart at home? And it's giving me strong goosebumps right now even
Mhm.
talking about this because it was just that's me asking God, how can I be what you want me to be, what you've raised me to be? My whole life you've guided me towards music and you've guided me in the right direction. And every step I take towards music, I feel you right there with me. So why would you put me in this position to leave the greatest gift you've ever given me, which is my son? Are you trying to test me? Like, I don't understand it. And it's like that's what it felt like. It was just a knowing of like, hey, I can't really leave my heart at home and just keep doing this, knowing that like every time I come home the distance is stronger and bigger. And it's like also not the trauma dump, but it's like my father left me when I was a child. So it's like there's a lot of people out there that don't have a father. And that's why I said in the beginning of this discussion was kind of like, hey, two things I wanted to be in life: a good musician and a good father if I ever had a child. And I was blessed enough too. So now it's time to, you know, put my wants and my desires aside to be the best father I can be for him. And I believe that God will find a way to make all of this other stuff work out. So,
Yeah. Also, side note, like, this is a mental health podcast. All we do is trauma dump here.
yeah, no, I kind of, this is why I feel comfortable sharing. I'm always
Yeah.
kind of like that anyway. Be a
Yeah, same.
car
I
dealership
literally,
interview and I'll be telling them about this shit. So,
they're just like,
yep, yeah,
yeah, no, I mean, was there kind of a sense of relief when you did leave? Like, you knew you made the right
100%.
decision?
100%. It was it, it was not like fun to even realize that too, because I was just like, shit, like why do I feel so okay with this right now? But then it was like I said, the understanding of knowing that it's like, okay, like it was the fear at first that, I've been working at music my whole life. My whole life I've been making music. And to get this opportunity, it was just like some people say, hey, this type of thing only happens once. And there it was in my hands. So to give it away, it felt like me saying goodbye to my dreams, to my identity. And it was because I was so afraid that that was true, that it was only a one-time thing. But
Mm-hmm.
when I left the band, and like I told you before, I've been getting people messaging me all the time about how they still support me and stuff. It was the realization of knowing like, yeah, no, this is more than possible. Side note, anybody ever telling you what's possible and that you can only do something once or that you're only
Mm-hmm.
capable of this, it's like, fuck that. Like, you make your own destiny, you pave your own path. And once I realized that, and I realized that I'm going to be making music for the bar down the street or the open mic in my town or
Mm-hmm.
Europe in the next 5 years, I'm going to be doing it regardless. And I remember that's why I do music, not to be famous, not to be rich or whatever, but it's to impact one person or 100,000. That's when I was just like, okay, no, I remember I make my own destiny. Fuck
Yep.
a one-time thing. Like, I'm going to make this a fucking 12-time thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just
And,
like, I'm going to keep doing this until I can't no more.
yep. And that's the thing, like, anytime somebody's going on like a larger like venture in life, people are like, okay, you're always gonna have somebody that's like, yeah, okay. As long as you have the drive, you can pretty much make anything happen.
That's 100% true. 100% true. You believe in yourself and you work towards a goal. It's only a matter of time.
Yep. Spite is a hell of a motivator.
I never really did it because people told me. I mean, I won't say I didn't because people told me I couldn't, but it was always, like you said, it was more of a motivating factor.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yo, I'm already knowing I'm going to do this, but you telling me I'm not, watch me.
Exactly. So you kind of mentioned on Instagram that you're working on a new project.
Mm-hmm.
What is it? And when can we expect to hear something?
So lately I've been learning a lot about music production and kind of some of the things that go on behind the scenes of like making an album. And even with our Until I Wake album, like we didn't record live drums. Like there were like MIDI and like
Mm-hmm.
some of the bass and stuff was done digitally. So knowing that like, oh, I don't have to play drums and learn how to play bass. I know how to play guitar and I know how to scream and sing. So I'm trying to learn all of it so I can essentially make my own projects. And, people will still be getting alternative stuff. They'll be getting metal stuff from me, but they'll also be getting a little bit more of my own personal influence sprinkled into these things. It's in the baby stages right now. I'm still learning. I'm not the greatest guitarist, not the greatest at production, so I really want to make sure that when I release a project, it's something I can stand behind and that sounds radio quality, and that's something that's going
Mm-hmm.
to mirror the professionalism that I had with my previous group. So it'll be a while. I wouldn't really want to put out a date of when anything's going to
Yeah,
come
for
out,
sure.
but I will say this. People are going to be hearing from me and they're going to be getting more updates as far as like my progress goes, because I think it's important to kind of show people the beginning stages so they can at least know like, hey, something's going on and he is doing something, and maybe it'll motivate them to be like, hey, I'm not the greatest at this, but I wanted to learn how to do it, so I'm going to try
Mm-hmm.
this too. So that's kind of where I'm at with my project. I wouldn't want to put a date on it, but
Right.
something will be coming sooner than later.
Yeah. Did you feel like more pressure working on this project, especially because of the caliber that you've been working with, like more anxiety, more pressure? Or are you just kind of like, we're just going to go with it and I'm just going to work at it until I feel like it's good?
This project that I'm working on now.
Mm-hmm.
This project that I've been working on has been more of like a kind of like a fun experience of like it's a learning process.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, sick of hearing a distortion pedal after 4.5 hours of playing guitar
Yeah.
straight. But that's what It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia is for. So take a break and then just get back to it. So
Mm-hmm.
it's actually been very fun. Like to sit down and write a riff. And I've never had professional sounding drums and bass guitar and stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that to add into my alternative music. And all the plugins I've had have been so basic, but being able to make so many new connections in the industry, I have so many great now resources now that have been guiding me towards like, hey, you're just missing this plugin, and you need to buy this guitar distortion plugin, and you need to use these kind of drums, and watch this YouTube video. Just those couple tips in the span of like 2 weeks took my production level and my songwriting level from here to here. And being able to get out of my chair and press play and then listen to what I made, it's exciting. So it's been very fun. That's why I don't want to put a date on it, because I
Oh
really
yeah, for
want to make
sure.
sure that what I put out is going to be something I can stand behind long term. And if it's something a label sees and they're like, oh, this actually sounds like it could go on the radio, that's where I need to get better at mixing. And like songwriting and stuff like that is something I've done lyrically, haven't really done a lot with guitar, so need to kind of learn that too. So
Yeah. What have some of your musical influences been, and like what bands have really impacted you the most?
lately I've been listening to a lot of Era, Invent Animate, Bring Me the Horizons album. It's not new anymore, but it feels new
So
like every
good.
time I listen to it. I
Ugh.
don't, that album is so phenomenal. I listen to it on like a weekly basis, and yeah, so a lot of metal. I haven't really been listening to a lot of hip hop lately. It's been a very weird duo of
Mm-hmm.
really heavy music, like Invent Animate and Era and these techie metalcore bands, and like Bill Withers or Stevie Wonder and Sade, and like just classic, old school music. And that soul, I think it just does very well with the metal, because the metal is where the aggressive side kind of comes out, and I feel
Mm-hmm.
like that soul music is really where that like heart kind of comes out. So I listen to the soul music when I'm in the shower getting ready for work, when I'm driving around doing my 9 to 5, and then when I get home or when I'm at the gym, I'm listening to like Invent Animate, and I pick up my guitar and it inspires me to write something. So um a little bit of both of those genres have kind of been on repeat lately.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I feel like sometimes people um get put into boxes when it comes to music, because like if you're a
Hmm.
metalhead, they're like, you listen to more than metal. Like, yeah, I listen to more than metal. Like by
Hmm.
my shuffle will go from like Kublai and Fit for a King and all of a sudden like the Wicked soundtrack's on.
Hmm.
And it's just it's if it hits, it hits.
That's 100% true. Definitely relate to that heavily.
Mm-hmm. So you're kind of putting it on pause right now, but your whole clothing line, Wholehearted
Hmm.
Streetwear, um, where did how did you kind of jump from music to deciding to jump in and make a clothing line?
So essentially, I was always into making clothes and always like making my own merch for Jaali Cypher when I was doing hip hop shows. And
Mm-hmm.
I learned how to screen print, and then I learned how to do like heat press with like designs and stuff through like this Cricut machine. And I started just messing around with a lot of stuff, like just mock up hoodies and shirts. And I made something one day, and my friend was like, "Yo, that's really dope." And I told him he doesn't listen to metal, so I was like, "Yo, this is from my song, Wholehearted."
Mm-hmm.
And it started out as just like an idea for a Wholehearted hoodie, but then I was like, you know what, the whole idea of the song Wholehearted relates a lot to like what I stand for as a musician. And I was like, I really want to kind of make a mental health driven clothing brand. And now that I have a fan base that likes this kind of stuff, they might buy something. And even if I just sell 5 of them, like that would be cool. and I'm at like 78 sales right now on my website. Like people have bought hoodies all over the world, like in Netherlands and Russia and London and everywhere. And it's like, just this morning, my buddy at the gym, he just drove from the gym straight to my house. I hopped out the shower and I gave him a hoodie. I was thinking about spreading them out in my local gym, like just going to the gym and giving them to some of the dudes I see there and like, hey, I don't know if you'd wear this, but right now at the moment, I'm kind of just it's a little. You're right, it is on a little bit of a hiatus just because with me stepping down from the band and focusing on music production, I know my fans like my clothing brand, but I also know that they'd really appreciate an album,
Yeah.
and they really like to see some music from me. And as an artist, that's where my strongest passion lies. Although I love making clothes, I can only spread my time so thin, and I've been focusing very heavily on making new music projects. So essentially, I'd say within the next probably 5 months, I'll probably have another drop for my clothing brand, but not before I have another track ready to go. So music first, clothing brand will probably fall second.
That seems like a natural flow of things,
Mm-hmm.
to be completely honest. So, what was your favorite song off the album?
Favorite song off the album? Good question. So I know a lot of people love Catacombs.
It's a solid opener.
It's a solid opener.
Solid opener.
Shout out to Nico for writing the dopest instrumental to start the album. Literally, as
Literally.
soon as I heard "Welcome Aboard," I was like, "Yep, first song."
Yep.
That's the
And
first
that drop,
song.
I was like, shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then I heard the rap beat come in, and I'm like, "My guy!" I remember I walked because he'd been writing the instrumentals. Walked over, slapped him up. I'm like, "My guy, I appreciate you for that." He's like, "Yeah, I knew you were gonna rap right there." I'm like, "Yeah, I know because you made that for me." I'm like, "You're the best." But my favorite is Eclipse. Eclipse is such a well-rounded song. The instrumental is my favorite. It's an F sharp minor. It's my favorite key. It's hard as fuck to sing, but it's just no, it's ridiculous. It's very hard. Landon actually said that it was the highest vocal song that he's ever recorded, like in his studio. So yeah, I was definitely pretty like stoked about that. I'm like, took me a minute to be able to record it, but yeah, no, Eclipse is my favorite. Not just the sound and the audio of the song, but it's the whole revolving theme of the song. It's about essentially being able to be in that sort of darkness, like when the moon eclipses the sun, and the understanding that all of our pain isn't permanent and it's not what really defines us. And behind some of these lessons of life are behind some of these, struggles that we go through are lessons. And even in Wholehearted, could it be a message just disguised as pain? Like that's the theme of this project, and I felt like Eclipse very much so kind of encapsulated that message in a I guess transforming kind of way, because it's later in the album. So the whole album, this main character is going through this struggle, and this is the catalyst for their self-realization of like, hey, like I finally see, like it's hidden. Can you see it? Like, behind all this pain is a meaning. Behind all these struggles that I've been through is a lesson. And then that's when Messenger comes on, and it's just, I felt like that song was strongly, it's the one I gravitate to the most. So
Yeah.
Eclipse for show.
It's a good reminder because I feel like when you're in the thick of it and you're just like going through it and it feels like the light at the end of the tunnel doesn't actually exist, like you do get over it. It may pass like a kidney stone, but it will pass.
Nah, yeah, I did a lyrical breakdown of it on my Instagram channel, and that was the whole idea of the song, is being able to let people know that, like, yeah, if you are in this right now, I understand, and I do see where you're coming from. It feels never ending, but it is only temporary. And just like the highs that we experience in life, oh, everything's perfect, everything's great, I'm happy, everything's going well, you gotta know that that's temporary too.
Yep.
So knowing that helps when you're in the thick of it, because you're just like, yo, like, might be fucking struggling right now, but maybe I'm like right at that worst part in the middle, and like tomorrow's gonna be a little better, and then the day after that'll be a little brighter. And it's like that was the kind of message I wanted to convey. That's why we made it the uh like I think it's the ninth or the 10th song on the album. It's
Mm-hmm.
towards the end of the album to kind of wrap up the theme of like, hey, this is we've been through this journey together, you know, artist and listener, and all mutually in the fight against our own mental health and or for our mental health, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, this is the part of the album that I wanted people to really feel like, hey, this is the change. This is the part that lets you know that it's like change is possible.
Absolutely. How do you take care of your mental health now? Especially with your life not being as
hmm
chaotic with like touring and stuff.
So I would say when I was touring, my mental health was pretty good. Like it was great. Everything was going well with me and my son. That was great. But it was towards the end that it was starting to get a little difficult. And then joining or resigning from the band, that was probably like the most difficult 2 months of my
Yeah.
life in the last 5 to 10 years. It was really rough just to know that like every day you're getting up, going to this job, it's like you don't feel like you're supposed to be there, essentially. And I started going to the gym. I have a whiteboard I'm sitting in front of right now. I have a whiteboard behind me that has, you know, schedule, month schedule, you know, goals, personal achievements and stuff like that. And just holding myself accountable for where I want to go from here has been very kind of pivotal in me staying positive and me staying the person that I want to be and building on the person that I want to become. So it's like if you fall, you can't just stay there and expect things to change. And it's like me, it's kind of synonymous with me leaving the band. It was kind of like a fall. My dreams took a back seat right now. And it's like, well, am I going to let that define me? What's next? I'm only 28 years old. Like I got a lot of life left to live. What's
Mm-hmm.
next? Started going to the gym 3 days a week. That's a huge one. Anybody out
Yeah.
there that is struggling with mental health, you don't have to go to a gym, but exercise, getting outside, having a little bit of fresh air, it does wonders for your mental health. I'm in a
Mm-hmm.
basement with no windows. I don't ever see the sun. Even when it's a sunny day, I'm down here working, playing guitar. So being able to get out, um, I would say, God. I pray every day I go to sleep, and I pray when I wake up in the morning, and
Mm-hmm.
I give my life to God, and I give my troubles to God, and although I can't take them away every time I have them, just knowing that you know God is with me and is with me on this journey, and you know everything that's happening upstairs is for a reason. Because if I
Mm-hmm.
never went through anything mentally, I would never be able to relate to the people that I have and
Yeah.
to the depth that I have. Therefore, the change wouldn't be as significant in their life. So sometimes my struggles are to mold me to be the person that I might need to be for someone else. So going through what I'm going through in the last couple months has kind of showed me that too. So I guess just really holding myself accountable with the gym, eating good, getting good sleep, getting outside, putting my life in God's hands and trusting that everything is going to work out the way He wants it to.
Mm-hmm.
And this music, just really working on music every single day has just been, I get out of work and I come home, and if I'm not with my son, it's straight to the MacBook and picking up this guitar and learning something new. Because,
Mm-hmm.
like I said, it's not the end, so I got to
Right.
figure out what's next. Now that I know what's next, kind of helps me like feel like, all right, every day I come home from work, I got something to do. I have to do this if I want this to come true.
Right.
And knowing in the back of my head that there's probably at least like 100 people out there that are like, Jaali, when are you gonna drop? When is it coming? I'm ready. Like, don't
Right.
tell me it's next year. Like, so it's like knowing that has kind of just been, it's been exciting because I know that whatever I drop, someone's gonna hear it and it's gonna get some sort of attention. So that's been motivating me a lot too.
For sure. So just to wrap, how is the kiddo doing?
Everything's been great back home. Everything's amazing. He's getting real big. Been going on a lot of fishing. I've been doing like outside activities, learning how to ride his bike. So I got to be there to teach him how to ride the bike
My
too.
God.
So he started making music the other day. I'm doing laundry, and my MIDI keyboard was out, and he started pressing some keys. I said, "You ready to go scooter?" He's like, "Nah, I want to do this for a little bit." And he's been cooking up music. Never
Oh,
wanted to force it on him. Anybody out there who has kids, it's like, try to force your kid to do something like, let's sit down and make music. They're like, no, and I never want to do it again. Don't make me do this. So I never forced him to make anything. So to be able to see him jump into this keyboard and actually find interest and want to stay and do it for a little bit, it's been beautiful. So a lot of good father-son time that we've been able to spend together. So that's been wonderful.
yeah. Jaali, thank you so much for taking the time and coming on. This has been
My pleasure.
an absolute blast.
My pleasure. I'm happy to do this kind of stuff anytime. And thanks for having me, because obviously you have a good platform. So it's a pleasure to be able to get on here and, talk some shit for a little bit.
Hey, I love it. I love yapping for a living. But just to like, if somebody has just now discovered you, because I completely forgot this.
Yeah.
Where can they find you? Instagram, Jaali Cypher?
Yeah, so my name is Jaali, Jaali, and then Cypher, Cypher. And if you guys like hip hop, if you like metal, if you like everything in between, I'm pretty much all over YouTube. So if you type my name in on YouTube, you'll find music videos, and obviously Until I Wake as well. That project Renovate is hands down one of my greatest accomplishments as a musician. So definitely go check out Renovate from Until I Wake.
Yeah. Well, thank you again so much.
Of course. Thanks for having me.